We have had in every generation from the beginning of this country immigration. Except for Native Americans, we are all immigrants or the children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren of immigrants. Immigrants in every generation have built this country, have enriched this country, have brought from the four corners of the earth the talents and the viewpoints that have made this country great, the initiatives that have made this country great. We still benefit from the immigration of generations past. We still benefit from the immigration now. We still need the immigration, and we still have a moral duty to provide the immigration. Unfortunately, not in every generation, but in many generations in American history, we've had bigots. We had the know-nothings who thought the Catholics and the Irish were terrible and shouldn't be allowed in this country. We had legislation passed in the 1920s, in the 1880s to exclude the Chinese and the Japanese. In the 1920s, anti-Semitic and anti-Italian legislation. And during the Nazi regime in Europe, we had the shameful spectacle of Jewish refugees from the murderers turned away from our shores and sent back to the murderers. And after the war, when this was all revealed to the American people, we were ashamed. But we did something about it. We passed asylum laws. We led in the new United Nations to pass international asylum laws. We passed asylum laws in this country, and those asylum laws are the laws today, and they say that when someone has reason to fear persecution, violence, they have a right to seek asylum in this country. That is international law, and that is United States law. And that law says they must be given a hearing. They must be permitted to be here to be given the hearing. They must get a fair hearing. And there is no place that it says that if you apply for asylum under our laws, you should go to a detention center. You should go to a jail. That is beyond immoral. It's illegal and immoral. And we have to fight that. Unfortunately, we have bigotry again today, and we have one of the chief bigots living in the White House. And having immense power, Abraham Lincoln said the president is clothed with immense power, and so he is. Maybe too much power. But we have to fight this president and what he does. If we are to hold our heads high and say, we are not complicit in the racism and the bigotry and the child abuse and the manslaughter that is going on. When we look at the detention centers, which shouldn't be there, because when someone applies for asylum, they shouldn't go to a detention center. They should be welcomed into this country pending a hearing. They should get the hearing and be granted asylum or not, as the case may be under the law. Most people now, and the president wants to build a wall. Why? To stop people from sneaking across. Well, putting that aside for the moment, people aren't sneaking across. They're coming across the border looking for the first border guard they can find and saying, here I am, give me asylum. Admit me to this blessed country, because my children can't live back there. I can't live back there. I'll be subject to violence or persecution or whatever. And we must, under God's law, under international law, and under American law, fairly give them a hearing and not torture them. This administration has a conscious strategy. Let's torture the people. Let's torture the kids. Let's separate them and kidnap the kids from the parents in order to deter immigration. Well, I have something to say to them, besides the fact that demonstrates their own inhumanity and disgusting behavior. You cannot. People do not uproot themselves from their homes. They do not trek across 1,000 miles with kids in tow for the hell of it. They do it only when they are desperate. When they are desperate. When people are desperate, they need help. And it is our moral duty to give them that help. And it's our legal duty to give them fair adjudication and not throw asylum seekers in jail. And we should not. How do you keep children in cages? How do you separate children from families? How do you kidnap them, which is what it is? How do you put them in cages and in facilities designed not to have them? Now, the president says if only the Democrats would change the asylum laws. What changes does he want? Let the kids stay put, separate from their families, longer than the Flores decision will do it. Let families be detained indefinitely. That's what we should change the law to, he says. And if only we would do that, which we will not do, will he change. We must oppose this president and these policies in every manner possible. We must acquit ourselves so that we can look ourselves in the mirror, look everybody else and say, we did everything we could to vindicate the honor of our country, to get rid of this president, to get rid of this regime, and to put an honorable regime in its place again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Nadler. And wait. We just had a very powerful testimony from Representative Nadler, who chairs the Judiciary Committee in the House. And what we need to understand is that if there, can I speak? I'm just curious if I could speak. If there is going to be any change, it will be from these chairs of committees who will push. Would you be willing to bring Ravi and others who have spoken today to testify that are relevant to the information that you care about to your committee?
Absolutely.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you, Representative Nadler. That is what leadership is.